Welcome back, everybody, and today we are smoking a couple of briskets from my uncle's wedding. There's a kid's slip and slide from last week. And what it is I took the time last night to go ahead and get the pit ready. What it is I use a bag of self-lighting charcoal and then stack the wood around it. I got a whole bunch of twigs piled in there around the logs and the charcoal. Well, let's get this thing fired up. Hang on. First thing we do, whenever we use a bag of self-lighting charcoal, is we just cut a little hole in it. Now this bag of charcoal is left out in my truck. It got wet. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Sorry for the blurriness, just the way the camera is. Yep. You see some of the charcoal in there starting. And in about an hour, we should be ready to put the briskets on. Time right now is about 6:20, 6:25 a.m. Here we are a few minutes later. Tore the bag of charcoal open, lit it, a whole bunch of twigs up there on top of the logs, down in between them. Hopefully, if everything goes good, we should be able to cook here in about, I don't know, usually about an hour or so. Get that thing of charcoal off of there with my pocket knife. Pit's been on for about an hour. Moved our little table over here. I like to bring the pit up to a high temperature like this and then let it cool down a little bit. But my target temperature is around 200 degrees. It's still a little bit high. I'll probably pop one of the lids, open one of the lids. I got some olive oil I like to spray the grill down with before I put the meat on. Let's see what's going on here. Came out here a little earlier. Closed the vent about halfway. Threw a couple of more pieces of wood on. Let's see, that needs to be flipped up in there like that. Alright. Here's our briskets. Our marinating pan had little holes poked in the bottom of it where we'd had it on the pit and put stuff like sausages in it, and then used it to keep the stuff warm, picking up the sausages and pork chop, stuff like that. The pan had got holes poked in it. So to get the pork chops, to get the briskets where I could marinate them for any amount of time, I had to cut them in half and put them into a smaller marinating pan. I do not normally like to cut my briskets in half, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Our temperature is still a little hot. It'll be coming down. I just wanted to go ahead and get them on. Notice the big chunks of meat are towards the front of the pit, taking most of the heat, and then the smaller ones are back here in the back. This is about 30 pounds of briskets. I think these are like 2 12s and 1 8, so it's like 32 or so pounds of brisket. Then we've got 10 more pounds of chicken quarters to put on the top section, but that'll be later on. Alright guys, the time is about 7:20, 7:30 a.m. We'll check back with this in about an hour or so. It's been about an hour since we put the briskets on. We're holding right around 225 or so, which is just 230, 240, which is just right. Because as the temperature goes up, as the distance of the pit goes up, the temperature increases. From here down, you decrease a little bit because the heat rises to the top of the pit. Let's take a look at these briskets. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's alright. I'm going to probably leave them like that and turn them around. Getting a little brown on the edge. I may turn these small ones around. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn these things around. What we have here is some cooking gloves. It's like a high heat glove. They're designed for you to wear while turning ribs, brisket, big chunks of meat. And I had them on a couple of videos ago while cooking crawfish. I was using them by handling the pot so I wouldn't burn my hands. We've got the meat turned around a little bit where the heat will hit it at different angles. I've turned these smaller pieces over so the fat layer is up. And hopefully, as that fat dissolves, it'll go down through the meat. Alright guys, that's it. And let's check out on another hour or so. The briskets have been on here for about 4 hours. It's now about 11:25 or so. We're holding a temperature of around, say, 2 to 2:30. That's right here. You subtract a couple of degrees as you go down to the grill. Alright guys, let's now what we're going to do is we have some foil. I've turned these over, turned the big ones around a couple of times, and I've turned these over a couple of times. What we've got is we're going to wrap them in foil. Now that we've got a good smoke ring, we should have a good smoke layer, or what some people call a smoke ring, inside the meat. We're going to take, we've got some heavy duty foil, and we're going to wrap the brisket in some foil. We have some spices. You find this at your Mexican section, and it's like a marinade. I'm going to pour a little bit of this in there. Then I have some steak seasoning, and I'm going to pour just a little bit into the foil and let them continue to like just soak up the juices. Here we are. The 6 sections of brisket have been wrapped in foil. I took some of this stuff here and poured in there, along with some Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, just a little bit of that. And then some Mrs. Dash table blend. Pour just a little bit on the bottom. Set the brisket on top of it with the fat layer up, so that the fat, as it melts, will just drip around the brisket. It's all sealed up here on top. The reason why we do this is because if we left it just in the smoke, it would kind of get a overbearing smoke taste to it that a lot of people feel that a lot, how to say, not everybody likes it. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Not everybody likes it. So we smoke it for about 4 hours, then come back, wrap it in foil. That way it's nice and juicy, doesn't dry out. And we've got about 6 more hours to go. It's getting close to 12:30. I'm probably going to be turning those around in just a minute. We're holding a steady temperature of about 225 or so. We've got a 10-pound bag of leg quarters to put on. And this pit has got a top grill right up there that is designed, or about the right size, for 3 packs of baby back ribs or 10-pound bag of chicken. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab that, slide it out there like so. We'll put some foil down on it because I need to clean it. It's got a bunch of built up fat in it. And to keep the chicken from picking all it up, we're going to put a layer of foil down, and then the chicken. And to season the chicken, we're going to be using a Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. We've got the chicken up there on top, and see how they're kind of interlocked. I'm feeling with my left hand because right hand's got stuff all over it, chicken juice. See how they're kind of turned so that they try to interlock a little bit, and we should be able to put a whole 10-pound bag of chicken. Excuse me. Up here on top, I've got to season them on one side. I'm gonna flip them over, season them again. So here we go. We've got the chicken and the blood and juice that was inside the bottom of the bag. I went ahead and poured it in there, inside the tray. I've turned the sections of brisket 90 degrees clockwise so that they get heat all the way around them. And whenever I come back out here again, we'll turn them another 90 degrees so that they're like heated consistently all the way around. And the time now is about 12:30 or so. I think the chicken's almost done. It took a little bit longer than what I was hoping, about 30 minutes longer, but the fire kept dying down, but it's done. See the juice is boiling out of it. It's been on for 2.5 hours now. Got a pot here to take it out and put it in. It's got a few little stains in it, but no big deal. It'll be alright. And this chicken, what we're doing is we're going to be heating it back up like in a big crock pot or a big warmer for a wedding later on. So right now we're just cooking it. Going to put it in the pot, bring it to the wedding, and then warm it up. Briskets have been on for 10 hours. It's time to unwrap them. See how they look. Yeah, the foil is just full of juice of like where the fat. Can you see that on the video? Right there. Okay, let's take that out. Now I've washed these gloves since I first used them whenever the meat was raw.
Lay them on the table.
Alright, just gonna put them right there. Let's see how this is
now
gonna
your
work
juice
out.
that's in your foil you can pour in the pan.
Yeah.
On top of the meat.
That's how this is gonna work out. Now, I'd like to throw a special thanks to a buddy of mine, D Wind, off the forum. And we were over here one day cutting up a brisket, and he was like, "Man, I think you're cutting it the wrong way." I was like, "Yeah, I think you're right." Look at that. Here we go. See, whenever you can grab it, the briskets run at different grains. Whenever you grab it and pull it, and it just comes apart like that, you know you're cutting it at the right grain. See how it just came apart? That's how you know it's good. This is one of the bigger chunks of meat. Yeah. See how the fat is just dissolved into a broth. There we go. Look at it. Just kind of squeeze it, and some of the juice is just coming out through holes in it, natural holes. I didn't poke any holes in this one. All right. Yeah, that'll work.